So quick introduction. My name is Jason Keirstead, VP of Collective Threat Defense at Cyware. This is my partner in crime, and the smarter person up here, Utkarsh. I'm going to give you a brief introduction to Cyware, what we do, and kind of do a high-level overview of what you're about to see, because there's going to be a lot of different moving parts. And then we'll get into the demo after. So, quick overview of Cyware. We're a small and aggressively growing startup, a provider of cyber fusion center, threat intelligence products, security, orchestration, automation products. That includes TIPS or collaboration platforms. We also power a number of ISACs that exist both in the United States and a number of CSIRTs globally. So they leverage cyber technology to run their entire operations, sharing all their threat intelligence, running their secure chat facilities, their alert management, communication with members, etc. Louder, okay. So we have four main products in the Cyware portfolio, and they're all built around the STIX and TAXII standards for sharing threat intelligence information. Cyware is a very strong supporter of open standards, and we try very hard to be kind of the leaders in the space in adopting all of this stuff. So I briefly mentioned what these are, but I want to make sure everyone understands they're all part of this demo you're going to see. So the first is this collaboration platform. That is what the ISACs, CSIRTs, and other entities use to share their threat intelligence information and see the alerts. So that's called our platform called Collaborate. We then have our product called Intel Exchange. That is our TIP, our threat intelligence platform. So that's leveraged by threat intelligence analysts to do their research, orchestrate their threat hunting, and generally do all their investigations that have to do with researching threat actors, finding relationships, correlations, etc. Both of those products work with our orchestration platform, which then lets you automate and orchestrate not only your threat intelligence, but also your incident response. So all that data that we pull in via STIX and TAXII and custom collections, you can write, similar to everyone who was here yesterday and saw the CACAO roaster, the orchestrate and respond products have that similar capability where you can build very complex playbooks that integrate with hundreds of different cybersecurity tools and go out and do all that automation orchestration to enrich the threat intelligence, bring in more information from third-party feeds, correlate it, cross-correlate, and then go and take action on things. I mentioned that we do a lot of ISACs that use that collaboration platform, so we actually power over 85% of the members in the National Council of ISACs. And as I mentioned as well, we also run a lot of national CERT organizations and expanding globally outside the United States. Basically the vision of the company is to have a sharing network to be able to interconnect all of these different entities to enable more robust cyber threat intelligence sharing globally. So I mentioned the Intel Exchange product. That is the TIP platform. It's got it has the ability to go and create your own TAXII collections and take the information, enrich it. It is full support for the 6.2.1 data standard. And including any custom objects that you want to add to your STIX bundles. So we can support all of those different custom objects. You can then do full automation orchestration, and we have like the AI-driven risk scoring module that then takes the information, correlates it with all this different third-party information from the different commercial feed providers, and then provides you that risk score with the indicators. And the orchestration platform is part of and integrated into that TIP. Lets you do low-code, no-code automation, hundreds of different integrations from all kinds of different commercial providers as well as open source providers to go and pull in that information and then take action in your AWS environment, your Azure environment, your ServiceNow instance, etc. Oh, sorry. It sounds so loud here. It sounds really loud.
It's for the people on the phone. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Respond product is it integrates with that the orchestration capabilities to provide you that instant management capability. So when in the SOC, your tickets, your automated response that go out and get assigned to your security analysts, so they can manage that workflow, manage their queue, and do that, connect the dots when they're running their investigation, and bring all that information together so they can do their research. And I know I'm going 100,000 miles an hour, but that's because I want to get to the more interesting demonstration of this part. And then the collaboration I mentioned, that's the ISAC part piece where you communicate with all of your different stakeholder groups and share that threat intelligence. And all of those things are integrated together. So what you're going to see, I call it a demo of 3 acts. The first thing that you're going to see is us taking a playbook from our orchestrated product and then exporting it into our own native JSON format and then converting that into CACAO. We don't have the 100% native export to CACAO yet. It's something that we're working on, but you'll be able to see the code that's going to be integrated into the product operating today. The second thing that you're going to see in the demo is then taking that CACAO playbook, bringing it into a third-party tool, in this case, the CACAO roaster that you saw Cecilia's and Matthias demonstrate yesterday, and then export that and convert that into STIX. CACAO roaster has that capability where you can take CACAO and then export it as a STIX course of action. So then you essentially wrap the CACAO playbook inside a STIX data feed and then add the course of action to it. And then finally, we're going to take that STIX data and import it into Cyware's Intel Exchange product or TIP platform, and then show automation that takes that STIX and then shares it with an example ISAC or CERT, and then also shares it with third-party TAXII servers. And in this case, our colleagues at Marathon have volunteered their TAXII server. We're also going to be running our own open source TAXII server, which is not part of the suite. It's a completely standalone open source project. And the whole point of these 3 acts and demos kind of show this is an actual real world scenario that is showing the power of multiple parties collaborating on playbooks in an ISAC or an ISAC, right? And that is kind of the end goal of what we all want to do here. The whole point of using open standards is that many different parties can collaborate to the same set of data. So that's what we're trying to achieve. That I'll hand it off and we'll flip over to them.
If you can clip the mic here, if it stays stable, we can adjust it better.
All right. Hello everyone. So we'll be going through like a lot of pieces. So bear with me, and if you have like any doubts, let me know. I can stop and we run those things. So coming to the first step, coming on to the orchestrate. So we have like orchestrate. This is our like orchestrate. So we have like playbooks created over here. So I'm going to pick like one of the playbooks out of it. Let's suppose AWS WAF, like remove IP address. So we are running a playbook over here, which is getting the data, and it's a complex playbook, doing some modification on IP address and connecting to AWS and getting all the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export it into our JSON format. So that's been exported. So here's that whole playbook which has been written. It has like a lot of tests. Let me like not go over here for now into this, and let's see. We have like written a converter utility from converting this JSON into a CACAO format. So I'm going to run this utility on this, and let me cat it over here. let me go over here. Yeah, that's been refreshed. So now this whole Cyware platform JSON is being now converted with our utility into a CACAO format, and with has like agent definitions, its workflows, what are the actions it has, and any battle steps which are happening, if and else conditions. So all have been added over here. Now, next, what we are going to do is load this into the CACAO roster. So I'm going to move it. This playbook will take a few seconds. So it will take some little time. It's a big table, so. All right. So you can see like it's multi-node playbook, and now it's loaded into the format. So there are like multiple steps, like and if and else conditions, and everything has been converted into the format. Now I'm going to quickly take export from the STIX 2.1 CACAO playbook format, and I'm not going to export with extensions now, just a format, and take this. So here we have like the course of action exported into a format, and we have like it's the whole playbook is being encoded into the base 64 from the CACAO roster, and I'm going to just copy this and plug it into my bundle. So I created a bundle before, so I don't have to do it right now. And I'm going to put so this is our now coming to the next part. So we have exported successfully into the 6.2.1 format. Now coming to the next step, this is our like critical exchange. Let me just refresh it once. I don't know, I'm having some connectivity issues.
That's how you know it's a live demo.
Yeah, it was working before. Okay.
It's conflicting with the Zoom.
Sure. All right. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay, so we're going to like we have like utility created already more until I'm going to like select a format. We have like various different formats. So 6.2.1, and we do support like other formats, even 1.x, 2.0, or like MISP even. So we have 6.2, and then coming onto the upload file, I'll just take this file, open it, and I'll take that import. All right, yes, because it doesn't have a bundle. Go to the downloads where I have created this, import, and I import it. So this is now like successfully imported into the system. It'll take a while. So here we are. And with the description, it's the same name coming again and again, and we can go to the custom attribute, and here's the whole extension which is being passed. This link coming over here. Now, what I'm going to do, I have like created a rule or where I can like put in more data around it, like okay, triggering one manual update, I can send it inbox. So I've already plugged in the Python server, the IMX server over here into the system. So I'm going to send the inbox to that server as a TAXII inbox. And then I have like also STIX has like its own TAXII server. So I'm going to publish it to that collection, and then we see like how it will work. So in the thread data, I'm going to add a tag inbox, and it's going to take some action and then send it to the, it will send the inbox to that particular item. So now from the demonstration, so we have our own like utility calls at TAXII2 available on GitHub. If you want to pull any of the TAXII services, we can like use this to pull any of the TAXII data. And so this demonstration, okay. So I have over here in Postman like added the objects. Here's the different server of the plugfest, and send the data. I'm going to send a request. See if it has. It's not yet, but I have like sent like more data before, which is like the MS defender indicators, and those data is in here. I'll check like what wrong for it, or it will take some time to come. And similarly, so we have like our TAXII server. So here's the TAXII script. Is a small script. You have to like plug in your credentials, your username, password. It's going to do the discovery. We can get the collection and collection ID, and we are going to just run it. So these are the collections, and here's the data which has been like published. So this data like comes again into it. So now anyone can pull from this like TAXII server, can get all this CACAO playbooks and transfer it into any of the systems. So we are able to successfully inbox into the IMX server. Also, we have published onto our TAXII server, so anyone can pull that data. Now coming to another format, like which is like what I have done, like if you are not a command line playbook or something, I've created a playbook utility on our source platform. Okay, it's not let me see if I can. Okay, I can move to the next part. So coming on to the CSAP or format now, if we go, I've showcased how like STIX has been imported into Intel Exchange and coming into the TAXII and our Art1 and side TAXII. Now coming on to the collaborate side, how we can like also use these JSONs and share with the members in like real time. So let's suppose we have like a alerts category created. I've already created one over here, and I'm going to like copy it. So this is our like collaborate platform where you can like publish the alerts to the user, and we have like different categories created. You can have like different categories, and then you can set your TLP level. If you don't want to share it with the whole audience, you want to share it with restricted people, so you can like create your own TLP levels over here. Next, any other information you want to add, indicators. So on the recipient side, currently I'm just sending it to me. Like so I've added individual, otherwise they're like you can set on TLP and other levels. And I'll go to the last part, but so I already have like upload over here done. So this is a file which is there uploaded, and how this works is I can browse and I can add like more files over here. I'm searching, so if there's any other files we want to add, so we can add all the JSON files over here. And when we go next, and I'm going to publish it again. So this is more of our admin portal, and then we have like our member portal where this will be delivered as I will like send it to only me. So this data which is being updated again a few seconds ago, and here I can see that JSON file is being available on the right hand side of the platform, and one can like download and use this JSON. So anyone can share these like any STIX format, JSON format, or any CACAO format into the CSAP to their members.
That's the other way. That's the demo. Just a couple of things I want to highlight, and then we can open it for any questions people have. So one thing that isn't in that demo, we were showing a lot of things, so we don't want to make it overly complicated, but before, obviously, when the intelligence is brought into the tip, it can then be correlated with anything else, right? So this is where the power of having that playbook as part of STIX becomes really interesting, because you can then tie, before you send that alert out to the members, you tie it to specific pieces of threat intelligence, right? So then this is what you look for, this is how you find it, and if you find it, this is what you do. And that's the whole idea of when we created CACAO and Course of Action, to try to close that whole OODA loop with threat intelligence that is shared with members of ISACs and ISOs. The other thing I just want to highlight before we open it is we literally just got this working yesterday. Like, we didn't work with Peraton for weeks and weeks on this. We showed up and said, hey, heard you have a TAXII server, and connected it, and it just worked. And to me, that actually kind of shows the power of everything we're trying to achieve here, right? Is because Peraton supports TAXII, and because we support TAXII, things just work. We didn't have to write custom code. We didn't have to spend hours debugging. It just kind of worked. And that's, the big benefit of us as an industry coming together to align around open standards. I mentioned we have 375 plus integrations in our store. A lot of those are custom code because we're not utilizing those standards as widely as well should we. So with that, I don't know how much time we've done, if we have Q&A time or not.
You have 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, we got lots of time. Any questions on anything in the room or online?
He's got to have a question. Start asking you questions.
Morning, John Cameron. So you have your cacao bugs. Where do you store them? Do you have like a way to audit how you got to that decision point, and then you solved the incident? Is there now a historical repository if something like this comes up again, or there's deviation from the original incident?
Are you talking about the inside the orchestrate platform, our playbooks as they get modified? How do we comment on that?
So we do have a version history created for each one of them. So you can like go back in time for any of those playbooks and see like who have modified it. So, and what other decisions have been taken on top.
So someone else in the room is actually, and I don't see any hands raised on the, and I'll ask a question. Since I think CISA isn't as good at their sales pitch on STIX as they could be on how much they're using it. Obviously, you have STIX interfaces. You do connect with ISACs and ISOs. Can you say a word or two on sort of the amount of transactions, or the amount of customers, or the amount of something, so we get a feel on how, I mean, you just gave a great demo on how real it is. Some of the stuff we're dealing with over these 2 days is futuristic. This isn't futuristic, this is actually working. Can you say a little bit more about that?
I mean, I can't give any raw numbers, but so all of those ISACs, ISOs that you saw there are using STIX and TAXII with our platform to share that information, right? So, without getting into any of the raw numbers, like you can just kind of imagine the volume, the level of volume of an organization like FSISAC that has over 10,000 members and some of the largest banks in the world.
So like one incident a week?
It'd be a lot more than that.
So,
Yeah. I don't know if it's order of magnitude we should get.
so like we don't have like access to ISACs like information, but we have seen like whenever like we get on calls, so like there are like hundreds of indicators per day are being reported, and they're using our platform to automate the whole stuff. around it, like you're sending from email or like your Slack or Mattermost. So there's any member can report that, and we have like done the whole automation around it. So within like minutes, it will be shared over TAXII and available for customers. And then due to STIX and TAXII, we have seen like let's suppose Splunk, QRadar, or any of the same, they already have like capabilities of consuming the STIX and TAXII data, and you can just plug it over there, and in real time they are using right now ingesting that data.
Yeah, we are working on some initiatives with some of our ISAC members to create really advanced real-time automation, right? Where we want to enable, because one of the things that you see in a lot of these ISABs is there's actually a great degree of capability, right? FSI ISAC has members like JPMC and Bank of America, but they also have members who are like a local community credit union. And there's a vast delta in capabilities there. And what we want to be able to do is enable those credit unions to be able to have access to those folks that don't necessarily have the full tipper store budget, right? We want them to be able to access automation orchestration as well. So we're taking some of that, up leveling it into the ISAC. So we've got some innovation programs in that area right now.
Thank you. That's great. Other questions in the room?
Good morning, David Otto, WWC Global Sporting DIA. As there is an analyst in the room, I have an analyst question. Bearing in mind that I'm not a technical person, so bear with me. When you're talking about your playbooks, you answered Mr. Kavanaugh's question involving auditing. The analyst in me wonders if there's a functionality in your platform to visualize multiple incidents that have occurred associated with my threat actor and perform analysis at that scale to identify common TTPs, STIX activities, so forth, for all sorts of fusion, standard fusion.
Yes, yeah, that's one of the core capabilities. Like, obviously in this demo, we're only focusing on the use of open standards here. We did it, every one of these products has a huge suite of capabilities. Like, it could be a whole hour just on one of the products. I don't know, do you have the ability to connect the dots? Sure. Putting you on the spot here. But so I mentioned this ability we have called connect the dots. And so in our Respond product, when people are working on incidents, that's exactly what that is, right? Is when you're looking at an incident, you can bring up visualizations where the system has automatically said these indicators, they're present in this incident, but hey, they were also present in these other incidents that you were working yesterday. And that's a signal that you should go and investigate, right? Yeah. So you can see here, it seems like it's still loading.
I know there's like very less.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can see here, you've gone and connected, this is what's in this incident, and these are all the things that are related to what's in that incident. You can also visualize this in the chart.
Yeah. So I have like opened yeah, I opened a like threat actor basically, and you can use like, so you can connect to each and every. So all things are like can be connected to, and that's where we are more supportive of like STIX, like supporting all the relationships. Like you can plug in anything out of it and then export into the STIX format. And that's what like drives us to the automation and standardizing everything, because it helps us to connect anything very easy.
Thank you. And there was another hand somewhere here.
This may not be fair to bring up with you, but as I listen to this, how we can share playbooks and put them together in a standard way. I mean, if I'm at a football game, if I can get my hands on the playbook of the opposing team, that'd be great for me. So how do we keep this out of the hands of the bad guys, so they don't know what our playbook is.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tricky balancing act, right? And you know, I totally get where you're coming from. I'm, you know, just because of my background, I'm always very much leaning towards sharing is better. I think one of the things in this industry is and I totally get where you're coming from, but I do find we sometimes over rotate in that direction where we want to hoard the information because we're worried the bad guys will get access to it. When the reality is they're so far ahead, right? And part of the reason they're so far ahead is because we are so hesitant to share. You know, it frustrates me a lot when I see CISOs in one bank working an incident and then CISOs in another bank working an incident, and they're like literally doing the same thing at the exact same time, and their teams could be talking to each other live and sharing that, and they're not, right? You know, organizations like ISAC and ISAMs are trying to push that envelope forward. So, I mean, the real answer is part of the reason that we focus so much on, you know, Cyware, we've made a very strategic decision. We don't have like a public portal, right? We don't have a public place to go and do all this. That we work with these partners because these partners do at least some level of that vetting and control of their membership, right? So that when you're in FSI, SAC, and you're sharing information, there's various different levels of TLB controls that Utkarsh was showing. So when you share that playbook, you can say, I want to share it with the entire membership. I only want to share it with the members of FSARC, or I want to only share it with this little secret squirrel club that I collaborate with, right? Depending on you have those capabilities. You could say, you know, this is information I'm more comfortable making more public. This is information I'm going to keep more close to the chest. But it's a fine line to walk, right? My own personal opinion is I think we've got to err a lot more on sharing more, sharing faster, right? And you know, getting that speed of response because it's all about speed. It's
let me second what Jason says as a former hacker. You started with the assumption they don't already have the playbook. They're way ahead, like Jason said. We just don't share enough. We handcuff ourselves. If they needed the playbook to do what they were doing, then we wouldn't be in the state we're in. We're already losing, so we have to start from the state we're in.
And maybe a little deeper is then stopping them from mutating, stopping them from mutating the playbooks when they're being sent.
yes. Yeah, no, that is a very important point. And you know, I don't think we've talked a lot about that in the past days. We talked about CACAO. So CACAO does have digital signatures that are built into it, and you can actually create a signature chain, which is important because you know when we were designing those playbooks, there's the notion of a playbook being signed by multiple parties, right? So imagine you are Cisco, and you can sign a playbook certifying that this playbook will work on your devices. And then it can also be signed by, like say, CISA or Mandiant saying the sequence of things in this playbook is our recommended step. So there's different parties and this multi-party signature to certify the playbook in different ways, right?
And for all the threat actors listening in on the call, when you do steal the playbooks, by the way, they're great for honeypots. One of the easy, having been in the intel community catching bad guys for a number of years, one of the easiest ways to detect that someone subverted your things is to put things in your things that basically show you when they're being subverted. So the fact they're following it means, oh, they got it. We know that. We know what they're doing. So that's for all the bad guys listening to realize that it works two ways.
Time we got.
We have 3 minutes, so be quick with the questions so they can answer.
This is going to be a little bit wider scope. I view basically the whole idea of a threat intelligence platform as basically a specialized business intelligence platform. So in that respect, and in the in the vein of sharing that you said before, the idea of sharing in this space is based on other standards. And for instance, STIX itself is what we call language, but it doesn't look like it's using well-defined language, computer science kind of processes. It's simply defining terms in a space of taxonomy. Whereas there are well-defined, definitions of language and what they look like, context sensitive languages and such. Why are we handcuffing ourselves, essentially, right? This is a bigger question. Why aren't we adopting these kind of base technologies as, the technologies we should be using to build upon, and then truly share with larger communities, even within the space of business intelligence communities, so that they can make effective decisions quickly and fast?
Amen, brother.
I'm gonna take that one. It's an open community and we can only decide what is submitted. So to my knowledge, none of that's ever been submitted, so please send it.
Surprise!
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing is, it's all about baby steps and stepping stones. Like, I mean, I think it's great to talk about, we should do semantic computing and model everything with the language so that we can create, send that to generative AI and do an automated response. But the reality is most organizations literally can't even send another organization a URL. Like they're literally sending that with text in an email and chat, and that's still the state of the world, right? And we've got to get, before we can talk about AI and automating response, and automating response obviously part of this, but having AI driven automated response and AI being able to go and counter the adversaries, we need to get the basics, and we do still to this day do not have the basics. That's why we're all here.
And that's exactly the proposal I'm saying is we're perpetuating the problem by not adopting these kind of ideologies, by not adopting these bigger standards.
But again, let's not let perfection be the enemy of the good. We have STIX. You're saying good. Don't use it. Stay in our horrible state until 5 years from now we figure out how to do it better.
I'm not saying that.
Well, good.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we're adopting it because we have nothing better.
Correct. So submit something better.
We could be much, then you have to work with the STIX committee who are resistant to changing this.
Okay. So you have, I haven't seen the contribution, submit it.
They happen. Yeah, but they'll come back.
Then again, the committee, I mean, again, it's a collective, open committee where I should say, you get outvoted. By the way, you can form your own committee and start another.
No, I
We
get
allow
that. I get that.
But anyway, we are now at break time. We're breaking until 10:50. And so again, those on the call, stay tight, go take a break of your own. Those here will have escorts to get us in and out, and we'll be online then shortly.